Imagine an era when gas was cheap, fashion was loud, and everyone dared to dream bigger. The 1970s, a decade when disco ruled the airwaves, and car manufacturers sometimes seemed to lose their minds. Among the timeless classics hidden away were also the mysteries, the cars that made you wonder, how did this even happen? And that's where our story begins. The American Motors Corporation, better known as AMC, unleashed the Gremlin, a car that looked like it was designed during a rushed lunch break. Two-thirds the size, two-thirds the price, and somehow twice the ugliness. The Gremlin answered the needs of its time. Cheap, practical, and oddly enough, successful. Yet one question still lingers. Did it really have to look that bad? Meanwhile, Buick, a pillar of American automotive pride, rolled out the 1970 Riviera. Once a beauty now. The front grille sagged like a scolded dog's face, and the rear fenders sprawled out like overgrown weeds. The Riviera seemed to silently scream for help, and the market heard it loud and clear. Sales plummeted. Not to be outdone, Ford introduced the 1970 Thunderbird, now with a giant beak bolted onto its front. Instead of an icon, it looked like a circus mascot on wheels. Thunder? All anyone could hear was laughter. Far across the Atlantic, Porsche attempted to break new ground with the 914, a mid-engine sports car. But instead of sleek sophistication, it resembled a baby bird, awkward and uncertain. Odd as it was, it still charmed those who loved cars with character. Over in Sweden, Saab introduced the Sonnet 3. Its nose stretched out long and proud, almost as if trying to win a world record for automotive Pinocchios. Sadly, the proportions were so off, it ended up looking like a clown car rolling through town. From Japan, Subaru debuted the 1972 GL Coupe. They hoped to look stylish to the world. What rolled out was a tiny car with a rear end that seemed to collapse halfway through its own design, like it simply gave up. Down under in Australia, British Leyland built the P76, a massive sedan supposedly tough enough to carry a 44-gallon drum in its trunk. But no drum could contain the tidal wave of bad press that followed this car. Back in Britain, the Reliant Robin took to the streets. On 3 wheels. It quickly became famous for tipping over while cornering at barely jogging speed. 3 wheels may work for a tricycle, but not for a grown man's dignity. In America, daring entrepreneur Malcolm Bricklin unveiled the Bricklin SV1, short for Safety Vehicle 1. Ironically, its iconic gull-wing doors jammed so often, they became a safety hazard themselves. Its plastic body panels even warped before leaving the factory. A safety car more dangerous than safe. And just when you thought it couldn't get weirder, came the city car from Sebring Vanguard. Powered by a 2.5 horsepower electric motor, about the strength of an industrial fan, it took over 6 seconds just to reach 25 miles per hour. Less a vehicle, more an expensive toy. Ford tried its own strange experiment, turning the mighty Mustang into something smaller, plushier, and far more confusing. The Mustang II Ghia arrived, complete with opera windows and vinyl roofs, hoping muscle car fans would trade brawn for decorative luxury. Over in England, Vanden Plas tried to fool the market by dressing up a humble Austin Allegro into a luxury sedan, complete with rear seat tray tables. But no amount of leather and wood could hide the fact. It was still an Allegro, only pricier. AMC, clearly addicted to oddballs, gave us the Pacer, a small car inexplicably made wide. Driving it felt like riding around in a fishbowl, with strangers' curious stares following you everywhere. British Leyland wasn't done yet. They offered the Princess, a car that looked like a hatchback party, but wasn't. The name Princess felt less like a compliment and more like cruel sarcasm. Meanwhile, Datsun, now Nissan, stumbled with the 1977 200SX. Its front grille resembled an electric shaver, its performance was sluggish, and it rusted faster than it could be sold. Not to be outdone, independent builder Donald Steinbach tried turning a humble Chevrolet Chevette into a luxury car called the Caballero. What he produced was 350 pounds of fiberglass, awkwardly bolted onto regret. Even Volvo, yes, sensible Volvo, tripped with the 262C. A coupe so chopped and squashed it looked like a Lincoln Continental accidentally shrunk in a washing machine. And finally, we arrive at the Oldsmobile Cutlass Aeroback, a desperate attempt to inject European flair into American roads, which instead birthed a weirdly sloped rear end that history quickly chose to forget. And so, the 1970s may be remembered for its music, fashion, and cultural revolutions. But it should also be remembered as the decade when car companies took the wildest creative risks, with results that were sometimes mesmerizing, sometimes disastrous, and often gloriously absurd. Because in the world of cars, sometimes you create legends, and sometimes you create the AMC Gremlin. On the highway of automotive history, some cars race toward immortality. Others, they get lost down the winding halls of automotive oddities, and we're just lucky to have been along for the ride. Because without these spectacular failures, the story wouldn't be half as much fun.